welcome to Project Home DIY. I'm Christine, the owner and curator of your Project Home DIY boxes. Thanks for joining us this month. We have a awesome project that I think you guys are going to love and be able to share in your home throughout the year and make it just perfect for your decor. Some of you have used wood flowers before. These are called Sola wood flowers. They are not from the company Sola wood flowers that a lot of people do know, but they are made from Sola wood, which is a really cool wood if you do a little research on it. So yes, they are traditionally wood flowers, and you can dye them, which is what we will do with our paints, which 2 new awesome paints, you guys, to add to your collection. And we will dye these and then place them in our wood flower box. So pretty simple project this month, but so many different ways that you can do it, because if you're a new subscriber with us, you did receive a welcome starter kit. I have a whole pile of them behind me because this is our supply area. And so in your starter kit, you receive 10 paints. And then also in this box, you got 2 more. So you can choose what color paints you'd like to use to dye your wood flowers, if you choose to even dye your wood flowers, and make it totally yours. Make it whatever you choose. So let's get started. The very first thing I'm going to do is dye the wood flowers. So then we have those drying while we paint the wood box. So I'm going to separate these out. In there, there'll be 50, almost, I believe around 50 flowers. I think, I can't remember. Flowers, just plenty for the box. I do know it's great coverage for everything in the box. Your wood flowers, they'll come with toothpicks. So go ahead and open those. This will be kind of our first step. This makes it really easy. Get your hot glue gun out, which also came in your starter kit. A few extra items you're going to need are here to my side. Cups. I recommend using a cup when dyeing the flowers, because if you use a bowl, the liquid gets spread out too much. If you use a cup, the liquid stays in the right, perfect area. So I recommend a coffee cup. They won't get ruined. You can wash them later. You'll have your paint tray and your paint kit. This is from your starter kit, or your paint tray and your paintbrush from your starter kit. I leave that. And then some water and a towel for cleanups. And I'm going to use a piece of paper to the side to set my wet flowers on, to let them dry. And you can use the paper that came as filling in your box, which is an awesome way to reuse that. So very first thing, you will see, I will tell you this, these are all handmade. How cool is that? I just love the uniqueness of each one of these little suckers. They're very fragile. Sola wood is not a strong wood. It's more like a foam almost. So just be gentle when doing this. You're going to take a toothpick and shove it in the bottom of the flower. And so when you're holding these, just be real gentle how you hold them. And get that toothpick in there so it stays well. And then I even like to take my hot glue and put just a teeny dab around that stick, and it's not going to come out. And I even, just hot glue it a little bit, and that stick will not come out now. It's nice and secured. So that's how we will put in all of these pieces. Some go in easier, some go in, it's a little hard. If it's a little denser at the bottom, you might have to fight with it a little. But if you get it in good enough and then tack it with the hot glue, you should be good. So let's do that. All right, got all the flowers glued, just cleaning up my hot glue gun strings. I'm usually pretty good about not getting strings, but holy cow, they're everywhere. I usually, to keep from getting strings, you just rub or use the tip of the glue gun and press it down on whatever you just glued. And that usually works really well. I think the tip of my glue gun is like a disaster though. I've used that glue gun forever. So I think it's just dirty. All right, got all the flowers ready. They're glued. And I have lots of extra toothpicks in case you break one. So you should be okay there. Unless you break a bunch, and then you might have to go break into your kitchen and get more. Okay, so once all those are ready, I'm going to separate them out by style of flower, because then I want to dye them evenly too. Okay, separate it out, and I'm ready to start mixing up the paint. So the amount of paint that you use is going to determine the pigment and color of the flower that you get. So if you really want really super pigmented, then use more paint. If you want less, use less paint and more water, because you're basically just diluting the paint to create the color. So I just squirted a big blob in there. You can see that. There's still probably, I don't know, 3/4 of a bottle left. So quite a bit left. So I'm gonna do that with this as well. These colors, oh my gosh. They're probably not everybody's go-to fall colors, but that's okay. Fall or winter. Again, if you choose, you can use a different color. Okay, I'm just gonna add a little bit of water. About, I don't know, a 1/4 cup of water or so. And then I'm using one of my paint brushes to stir it in. Okay, stir until you can see most of the pigment is covering the flowers. And I'm actually going to leave some plain, and you could even dye some like light gray, or even the white might give you a really pretty light color, even alpaca. But I'm gonna leave some of them white. So I'm just gonna dip this in, swirl it around, shake off the extra, and then look at your flower. Make sure it's what you like and that it's covered. That looks amazing. There it is. And then I'm going to set it down and let it dry. So that's how you dye wood flowers. Pretty darn simple. And I love the color. I'm going to keep with that. It's all good. So let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18. Okay, I got 18 of these. I'm gonna do 6 pink. Okay, last flower for the, what color did it, oh, Seafoam. Okay, yeah, last color for the Seafoam, or last flower of the Seafoam color. As you can see, I did set up a heater right here on my table and directed it right at the flowers to help dry them quicker. I do rotate them throughout the drying process so all the paint doesn't just leak down to the bottom of the flower, and then you have a soaking wet part on your flower in that area. So just rotate them every once in a while. Some are already getting pretty dry. I do think I want to do one more color. So let me dump this. Let's wash it out. I think I want to dye the third ones. One of our colors from the box of original paints, and I'm going to use cream, just a real light color, but I think it'd be super pretty. Just to get, because now once I see them, these with the dyed colors, these look yellow, really yellow to me, and I don't really want that look, so I'm going to make these a more neutral color and use cream. I'm going to move this down a little bit. So it might be out of the video, but just know they're still there drying. The flowers are, you can move or bend the leaves or whatever if you have some parts that didn't, that come loose or whatever when they get wet. You can bend them back. See, like right here, this little guy is kind of bent a little. You can fix them when they're wet, which is the cool thing about solo wood flowers, is they are very forgiving. Okay, so I have my cream in here. I'm going to mix it. Alright, the cream is done, and I love that color much better than the natural wood color for these. It looks much more forgiving and complements one another much better. So, I'm going to let these flowers dry, and I do notice some of the rose petals are uncurling. You can kind of curl them back under and set them down to dry on that part. And it's okay if they uncurl, because honestly, when you get them all squished in this box and put together, you won't notice those uncurled parts at all. So don't worry about that too much. I'm gonna move these over again, so I know I'm out of the screen. But, okay, those are over drying. Nice. Cool. Okay, the pink ones are doing great. You can also like stick them, if you have another piece of styrofoam and you want to stick all the flowers up in the styrofoam so they dry straight up and down, you can do that. Whatever way you want. I did not put them in this. I started to put them in this, but then I stopped because I'm going to paint this while those are drying, so I didn't want to have this full of flowers. You do not have to take out the styrofoam, but you sure can. I don't think it's glued. I don't remember if it is. Yeah, it's glued. I wouldn't take, I mean, you can take it out, you don't have to, but if you get paint on it, it's fine, you won't even see it. And honestly, if we get paint on it, it'll look better. It won't look like a white hole in the bottom if you do see a flower through. So it won't matter at all. All right, for the painting box color, this is obviously preference, whatever you choose that you want, but I'm going to use slate, and I'm putting quite a big dollop on my paint tray, and then I'm going to water it down because I want a real light dusty coat of it. I think that'd be super fun. So there's my slate, and then I'm going to mix it on my tray. Surprised I haven't got dirty this time. I'm splashing like everywhere. Oh well. Okay, so just getting some of those chunks out. Get the majority off the paintbrush because there's a lot right on that. This is going to give me a really worn look that I want, and then I'm even going to sand more when it's done. So let's get the box painted. Okay, box is painted. I'm going to let all the flowers and the box completely dry. I set the box up. I did paint the bottom of the box. So I did set the box up on a bottle of paint so air can get underneath there and let it dry as well. Just kind of look around the whole outside edge of the box in case there's any drips, any weird edges. When you go back over like these top pieces, it goes down the side, so you just got to keep double checking all of those. Oops. And making sure that you didn't miss and drip anywhere. You don't want that. So I'm going to rotate the flowers, let it dry. Once everything's dry, I'll be back. Okay, welcome back. My painted box is all dry. I do want to sand it and give it a little bit of a more rustic finish look. I'm just going to focus on the edges. This will also make it nice and smooth. Paint has water in it. We added water in it. Water makes grain of wood lift a little bit, so smooth those edges back out and create kind of like a distinct line or finish on the wood box. So I'm going to go ahead and sand. Okay, after I'm done sanding, I like to wipe it off with a microfiber because it just gets all the dust off. Well, okay, so the box is finished. Get off my table here. Something fun if you guys want in the VIP group. If you're not in it, make sure you join it. The link to it is on the bottom of these instructions. But I've shared some inspirational colored photos for like table decor, and they're kind of based off of these colors and what made me choose these colors, even if they're not the typical fall or Thanksgiving or winter colors. So I loved the pumpkins. I love the look of the gourds, the green gourds in there and the pink pumpkins. But you can take these faux pumpkins that you get from any of the hobby stores. I took the stem out because I'm going to paint it. And take your paint, your pink paint, and your green paint, or your Seafoam, and you can totally paint them to kind of match your flower arrangement, and then set these out along your long table, just like in the pictures that I shared. So then you can have fun pumpkins painted just like your flowers. Depending on the look you want, you might have to do a couple coats. If your pumpkins don't have a wire in them, like these ones happen to, if they don't have a wire in them, then just get any kind of wire and stick in them. It just makes them much easier to hold and paint. So just kind of a fun little extra thing to be able to do and make look really pretty along with your flowers. Okay, so that first layer I did kind of sloppily, and then I'll go back over and straighten it out. I just like to get everything, whenever I paint anything, I like to get it covered and then go back over and smooth it out. So now I'll go and do, okay. I'm just gonna stick them in a cardboard box like that so they can dry. And then I'll be able to use them. I pulled the stem out so you can easily paint. You don't have to paint around it. Even if you can get the orange gourds or the light color faux gourds, you could spray paint them white first and then paint over them in the green. The green over orange won't work well. So I definitely suggest spray painting them white first, getting them really good covered white, and covering that up first before you paint. Okay, so I got it covered. Now I'm going to go over it nice again. Okay, so just a fun addition to your already cute flower box. And if you want to add that to your table decor, you can. Just another idea. All right, done painting. Box is sanded. We are ready to arrange the flowers. This may intimidate some of you, but don't worry about it because I can guarantee you no matter what way or how you put these in, it's going to look awesome. So don't worry about, you don't need to be a professional flower arranger. Nothing like that. Don't worry. We will get it just perfect. I'm going to spread some of these out when I see them. Okay, so I like to keep things kind of symmetrical. So if I put this cream one over here, I'm going to put the other cream one over here in the opposite side. And I'm going to squish it all the way down. Sometimes the petals, you can pull them apart. They might be still stuck a little bit together. If you do see some square edges on your petals, you can cut them. So like some of those roses that lifted, just round them off if you want. So these are so forgiving. I love them. And they look so pretty. So whatever you do on one side, I kind of like to keep doing on the other side. So if I add in these big ones, I kind of like to do the same thing on the opposite side. And I do like starting with biggest flowers and working my way down into smaller flowers. Okay, so just go for it and start placing your flowers. right. See, I told you you would love your arrangement no matter how they turned out. They are perfect. I have the pumpkins. Here they are. I painted just 2 of them pink. Put the stems back in. And set them in there like that. You can add anything else that you want to make this fit your decor and match each season. You can even change out seasonal items for it. So the pumpkins could come out and you could change it into winter or something, and very, very versatile for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed and can't wait to create with you next time. See ya. Bye.